What does all this mean for Kevin Durant's legacy? And I can tell you this right now, it's not a good look. Must I remind everyone, Kevin Durant had to join a team with a previous NBA MVP in Golden State, the team that already had the best record statistically in NBA history, that had already won a title without him. He had to join Golden State to go win a title. But after becoming a two-time NBA Finals MVP, we all said, let bygones be bygones. KD was about to go join the Nets, an up-and-coming team with really only Kyrie as its other primary superstar. That was fine. Then James Harden joined the roster, and we said, okay, James Harden, Kyrie, KD, that was fine. But then they added Blake Griffin in his 6 previous All-Star appearances. And now, LaMarcus Aldridge and his 7 previous All-Star appearances. It makes me just ask myself this. KD, how come all the squads you're joining or all the players you're recruiting have to be previous All-Stars for you to get it done? I understand at the end of the day you want to win chips and you want to win as many as you can. But at the point in which in years past you had to join a team with a 2-time MVP to win a ring, and then now you had to recruit a former MVP along with the likes of Blake Griffin, although he is older, along with the likes of LaMarcus Aldridge, although he is older. I just question, KD, what's it really mean for your legacy? Well, I got to bring in NBA analyst, my guy, Chris Broussard, CB, my guy, Slick Rick, and let's get their take on it. So, Slick, I'm going to start with you. How much does this impact, how much does this super team, this new super team, impact Kevin Durant's legacy?
Yeah. I'd say it's going to impact his legacy, but I would say it's to the positive, not the negative, in terms of these guys coming to join KD in Brooklyn. The details, Acho, the details are important. First of all, you miscast what happened with Golden State.
Please correct me.
He didn't have to go to Golden State. Golden State recruited him. We all know about Draymond Green saying, look, we can't get this done anymore without you. KD, could you come help us? And KD said, yeah, you need a Finals MVP 2 times. I'll be there. I'm there. Let's go win some championships. That's what happened there. Now, when it comes to Brooklyn, is he recruiting these guys? Or are these guys looking at KD and saying, you know what, I'd like to win a ring, and I know where I can get one. I can get one if I go to Brooklyn and join up with KD and James and Kyrie. Granted, it's not just KD, but the idea is we want to go someplace that we can win a championship, and KD offers that in Brooklyn. So the biggest part for me, though, at this point, because we don't know what's going to happen when it comes to the postseason, how good the Nets are going to be, whether it truly is a super team. But what this tells me is that while KD's reputation in the public and with the media is moody and sensitive and standoffish and all those things, that the talk around the league does not buy into he didn't get along with Draymond, so that must be KD's problem. He didn't get along with Russ, so that must be KD's problem. This demonstrates to me that players, no matter what their ilk may be, they look forward to playing Kevin Durant. So as far as that is concerned, to me, the only thing that I can judge in terms of changing his legacy is that his legacy is a guy that may not be the greatest teammate or a difficult teammate. That's being put to bed by all these guys running to Brooklyn.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you on that, Rick. I don't think, I certainly haven't viewed KD as a bad teammate, even though he had his issues with Draymond in that last year in Golden State. I won't say you had revisionist history on your retelling of how he got to Golden State. I'll just say you had a different perspective. You are right. They wanted him just as much as he wanted them. But the question, to Acho's point, is regardless of how he got there, would he have 1 or 2 championships if he had not gone there?
Bingo.
And that's the question. Now, here's what it does. It doesn't, getting all these players in Brooklyn, I don't think it demotes KD. All right, he's an all-time great. He's, top 15-ish, somewhere around there. But it could hinder his ability to move up. So take these scenarios. When KD goes to Brooklyn with Kyrie, let's say that's the team plus Karis LeVert and the other role players that were already there. And they win the next 2 championships. Now, Kevin Durant is moving up the charts because you're like, he led his own team and they won these 2 championships. He didn't need the Golden State Warriors just to win a ring. But now with Aldridge and Blake, and they're the secondary parts, it really was adding James Harden. Now if they win the next 2 championships, okay, KD's got 4. That's great. He's still top 15-ish. But it hinders him from moving up because he's got all this talent around him. Now, I've said it myself. Larry Bird had plenty of talent, and they went out and added Bill Walton. Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had plenty of talent, and they went out and added a Bob McAdoo at one point, drafted a James Worthy with the #1 pick. So everybody, this is not the first time teams have been stacked. Even that Miami Heat team that won a championship in 2012, they went out and added Ray Allen and then won another championship. So this is not the first time. But what also could be hindering KD is his sitting out. And now people are talking about James Harden as the MVP. You've heard Charles Barkley and others say he might be, whether you agree or not, that he might be the best player in the world. Now there is, Harden to me is the engine. And if this is going to work, it is all because of James Harden's playmaking abilities and ability to run the point guard and keep everybody happy. So now we're questioning, is it KD's team or is it Harden's team? Whether they win or not. Now, that'll play out in the playoffs, but this could hinder KD's chance to move up the charts.
Fellas, I look at it like this. Kevin Durant is like that hospital that only admits the healthiest of patients, and then it boasts about its health care provided. See, Kevin Durant is joining a Warriors team that was already the best team in the history of the National Basketball Association. But then we all boast about his accolades because he was a 2-time NBA MVP. Must I remind you, Slick Rick, as I see your subtle hand gestures, the Nets currently have the best record in the NBA since Kevin Durant has been out at 15-3. So if my math and deductions are right, KD joined the best team in the history of the NBA by record, 73-9. And then he's now on a team that actually is currently the best in the NBA without him. To CB's point, it doesn't diminish KD, but it does make you have to ask yourself, do I need to reclassify where I am putting KD? Because if the Nets are literally the best team in the NBA without KD, and the Warriors were already the best team in the NBA history without KD, then I just wonder, where exactly should I put KD? Because as I look at it right now, I don't necessarily think he belongs where we currently have him as such an impactful superstar if the Nets are still just as good without him. Somebody got to make that make sense.
Let me make it make sense. This is the mistake that both of you are making. You keep judging Kevin Durant and talking about his legacy, about where things are in the regular season, whether it's what the Golden State Warriors did in the regular season or what the Brooklyn Nets are doing in the regular season. That's not where legacies are made. Giannis Antetokounmpo, arguably, has been the best player, or at least the MVP vote says, has been the best player, the most valuable player the last 2 years. And yet we don't put him in the category of some of the players that we've been talking about when it comes to legacy. He has not established an all-time great legacy yet. Why? Because he hasn't done it in the postseason. So I agree with you. James Harden is having a transcendent regular season. But we know what James Harden, in fact, Acho, I've heard you mention it yourself on this very show about the disappointments that James Harden has delivered us in the postseason. Kyrie Irving has not demonstrated he can be that guy. James, when it comes to Blake and it comes to LA, the names are bigger than the games at this point. If Kevin Durant delivers for the Brooklyn Nets in the postseason, the way he delivered for the Golden State Warriors, who, let's not forget, top regular season record, and then ultimately we're down 3-1 to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And, that Kevin Durant in Oklahoma City. So the regular season performance is not a reflection of who they are or potentially could be in the postseason. That's where Kevin Durant delivered big time for the Golden State Warriors and can still add to his legacy if he does the same for these Brooklyn Nets.
He did deliver for Golden State, but I think we'd also admit that it was easier to deliver because you had Steph and Clay and Draymond out there drawing attention, particularly Steph and Clay. And when it was just when KD was the man and it was definitively his team, because I don't think, even though he was the best player in Golden State, we wouldn't call that his team. We were calling it Steph's team, and I think rightly so. But when he had his own team, he didn't win championships. In fact, they blew a 3-1 lead to the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. So when you look at a Kevin Durant against a Larry Bird, you're going to say, well, Bird was clearly the leader of his championship teams. He was the best player, not only the best player, but the leader in every sense of the word on those teams. That's the question with KD. Now, to your point, Rick, maybe he'll prove that during these playoffs. But if Harden continues to kind of be the man, they're all going to have their numbers. But we'll have to watch and see who's really making it work. Is it just KD just dropping buckets and hitting jump shots and giving you 29 points, but Harden's the straw that stirs the drink, and it really looks like his team? That's all what's going to come out. And if it looks like Harden's team, then when KD is measured against a Larry Bird, those are the types of things that could keep KD from jumping over a Bird.
Fellas, this is all I know, and this is what I'm going to leave y'all with. Since 1980, only 4 teams in the NBA have a roster of cumulative 41 All-Star appearances. 03 Lakers, 10 and 11 Celtics, and the 13-14 Miami Heat. None of those 4 teams won the NBA championship. So maybe it hasn't impacted KD's legacy just yet. But I'll tell you right now, KD, if y'all keep up that trend, legacy is definitely taking a hit.